Hello and welcome to another edition of the PHNX D-Backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is the mayor of PHNX, occasionally known as Derek Montilla. This guy over here is named Thunderstick for some reason. I don't know why his mom named him that, but occasionally we call him Jesse Friedman, the vice mayor. Sir, how you doing today?
I am doing all right, and yes, I can confirm that is the name that my mother gave me.
Thunderstick.
Yeah,
it's very weird. Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
We are being joined, ladies and gentlemen, right now by the director of content. Prince
it's
of
Vice
Purple,
President of Content.
Vice
Get it
President
right,
of
right?
Content, the one and only Espo. Espo, what are you doing here?
I am very, very upset with something you have been missaying on the program.
What have I been missaying?
And it's important.
Okay, let's hear it.
Very, very important
Okay.
to your audience. You keep describing weird science wrong.
What? Why?
They're not in college. They're two high school kids.
Oh, my God.
Nerds at their home.
Wow.
That's why Bill Pullman, his brother, is there.
He's right.
Like, you've been misrepresenting this classic that you're going to force Jesse to
They're
watch.
supposed to be
and
the
I am going to force him to. Well, here's the thing is I was 4 years old when that movie came out, so I can't take credit for being old enough to really know it. Neither can you.
Hold on. I was 2 and I still know it.
Okay, that's fine.
So get your facts straight.
Okay. Is that all you were here
That's
for?
all
To
I'm here
reprimand
for.
here? Okay, Jesse, it's
okay.
high school kids. It's even
It's
worse.
high school kids.
Enjoy
Okay.
your show.
It makes the message even worse, let me tell you. But now you're going to watch it, and it's going to make things
I
even
don't
more
think that one's
complicated.
winning the poll right now.
You don't
though.
think so?
I'm pretty sure Breakfast Club is winning the poll right now.
Really?
Because that's
Wow,
the
what
one
a
that
sleeper.
That's the one that people actually know, right?
I don't like that. I don't
As we
like,
found out yesterday, nobody knows any of these movies
They don't
that you're
know
talking
any
about.
of these movies. Like I said, Real Genius is the best one of the lot. But of course, this show is brought to you by the fine folks at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use our code of PHNX. Make a deposit as a new customer, and you will get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That is at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Jesse, what is going on with the Arizona Diamondbacks? They are on quite the streak, quite a run.
They're doing pretty good,
right?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Is it too early to start talking playoffs? Can I take off my journalist fedora with the big feather, put on my fan cap, and start screaming about playoffs yet? Playoffs. They're 4-1, Jesse. They're beating up on the San Francisco Giants, who apparently came here to get right, according to manager Gabe Kapler.
Yeah. So apparently that was actually never said. I don't know if you heard about that, but Steve Gilbert yesterday published a story talking about these words that Gabe Kapler, the manager of the San Francisco Giants, had allegedly said. Apparently he said, they've been struggling lately, and so he said something along the lines of, we'll get right in Arizona, right?
Correct.
Sort of like a
confidently.
Slight. Yeah, confidently. Yeah. Sort of like a slight at the Diamondbacks as them being sort of an easy target.
Sure.
But those words apparently were never said, Derek. We have nobody has found any audio. Nobody's found any video. Nobody has any evidence whatsoever that Gabe Kapler said those things. And so
do we know where they originated?
I think it is entirely possible. We don't know for sure, but it is entirely possible that a member of the Diamondbacks clubhouse simply made up that Gabe Kapler said that in order to create some sort of false motivation, which appears to be working.
Hey.
So all is well that ends well,
Man,
right? I guess it's working.
You should wait to hear the things I heard Brian Snichter said about the Diamondbacks, because if that's going to get him fired up, wait till you hear what we have to say about the Atlanta Braves coach.
Yeah.
Second series in a row after the All-Star break, so they are fired up. They are rolling in the right direction. Tyler Gilbert gave him another decent spot start. Kind of a bit like Corbin Martin, where like from watching it, you're not super confident in him as a starting pitcher going forward, but it's hard to deny the results were pretty good, and he gave the team an opportunity to win, which they did in Game 2, winning the series.
Yeah, he did. Tyler Gilbert seems to be a twice through the lineup sort of guy. Whereas, other starters, of course, are allowed to go further than that. They're allowed to pitch deeper into games. But the Diamondbacks, even though he only had 71 pitches yesterday, they pulled him after 4 innings. And sure enough, if you look at the numbers, Derek, that seems to be probably an understandable decision, given that Tyler Gilbert, the third time through the batting order, I believe opposing hitters are batting .462 with 6 hits, and those 6 hits are 3 doubles and 3 home runs.
Yes.
So it appears he's not a guy that you want pitching to guys the third time around through the order. And it worked yesterday. I mean, let him go out there for 4 innings, give you a chance to win. They used Luke Weaver, got a couple of innings out of him yesterday, and they were able to finish out the game from there.
Yeah, Luke Weaver, again, another impressive performance out of the bullpen as well from him, right? Came back in and plunked a guy, and that ended his day. But the inning that he was in for, he looked pretty effective.
Yeah. I guess it was really more than 1 inning. He didn't really stay in the second inning because you're right. He hit the batter and then that was sort of the end of it. But he did have 3 strikeouts in the 1 inning that he had before that happened. So it's really hard to figure out what exactly is happening with Luke Weaver. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that he was viewed as being a starter that the Diamondbacks wanted to build around moving forward. But that is not the case now, Derek. He's sort of being used in these. Yesterday wasn't a mop-up role, but it was not. He's not being used late in games, right? He's not a high-leverage reliever for them yet. But maybe there's a path where he could get there if he's able to have a few more starts like he did or a few more outings like he did yesterday, maybe minus the hit batter and some of the walks that he had in that one.
D-backs are now 5-3 versus the Giants this season. They are actually up right now 1-0, so they much different. They have a much different record than they had last season. They were 2-17 against the Giants.
Yeah, much
in 2021.
Much different.
Things are going much better, just like the entire season has been. But if Gabe Kapler did in fact say those things, hypothetically, you could see a reason why, after going 2-17 against the Diamondbacks last season, why he thought his team might be able to get right against the Diamondbacks.
You'd feel pretty confident facing a team that you won 17 out of 19 games against the year prior. So it is understandable, but I don't think he even said those words. So it's pretty crazy.
And you know what's fucking mind-blowing to me is to think that at 2-17, they're 5-3. How many more games the Diamondbacks still have against the Giants this season?
Yeah.
With not a lot of time left in the season, right? It's once again why their second half of the season is the third most difficult stretch. It's because it's so much National League West, just back to back. I mean, we have so many games still against the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Padres left on the schedule. But the Diamondbacks right now are on pace to beat them all, Jesse, because they are 4-1 post All-Star break. They are now 44-53.
That's how this works, right? That means they're going to win 80% of their games.
That's how it works with the
way.
Nationals beating the Dodgers. More importantly, they've outscored their opponents 34-10 post All-Star break. So they're on pace to score 700 runs basically in the second half of the season, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
Well, wait, 700 runs?
No.
No, there's not that many games in the second half.
That's
but
fine.
They're averaging about 7 runs per game so far out of the break, which is pretty dang impressive.
Yeah. And they could win their 45th game today if they sweep the Giants. And should they do that, it's kind of an impressive feat because they did not win their 45th game last season until September 1st.
They barely won 45 games last year.
They barely won 45.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were getting really close to that number that their total for last season. But, again, it just shows the improvement of this team, win or lose, right?
Yeah.
I mean, our goal here is to make Patrick Lyons look silly. That's all this season is about. Forget win, lose, forget any of that other stuff. That we want to make we want to beat the Rockies. We want to make and Patrick Lyons, speaking of which, took a picture wearing a nacho cap yesterday in the press box. So I don't know if he needs too much help in that department. But the D-back starters are 8-3 in the month of July, which is a stark contrast to what we saw in June.
Yeah.
And again, the starting pitching really has been where it's at for this team and why they've. I mean, I don't know. I guess you couldn't say that because starting pitching has been good, but the offense has also been very good for this team. Yeah,
it really has. I mean, the Diamondbacks are. Yesterday was honestly it was a fascinating game because for a while there the Diamondbacks had. We have so many cameras here.
We don't know.
We're trying to figure out which camera to look at.
What camera do I look at? Do I look at this? This camera's in front of me. No, I'm not looking at that. Now, do I look at this one? Camera 1, camera 2, camera. Was that camera 1? I don't know. Why are you doing this to us, Jacob?
This is incredible.
This is awesome. All right.
So yesterday's game was wild because for a while there, the Diamondbacks had 5 runs and they only had 2 hits.
Yeah.
And both hits went over the fence. And one of those hits was a 3-run home run by Christian Walker, which, get this, Derek, Christian Walker had not hit a 3-run home run or a grand slam all season long prior to that moment.
Oh, my God.
All of his home runs for the entire season.
With one on or nobody on, right?
One on or nobody on, exactly.
Oh, my God.
So that was the first time that we saw Christian Walker drive in 3 on a home run, and it came at a perfect time when the Diamondbacks We're facing a really, really tough pitcher in Carlos Rodon. We'll get more to him yesterday. He had a really interesting day at the ballpark yesterday.
For sure. For doing as well as he did numbers-wise, like I get why. Because
he had 10 strikeouts.
I think that's the thing is when you give up 2 hits, and those 2 hits were so critical based on other mistakes you had made to allow base runners on, and then that's how the Diamondbacks get such a substantial lead.
Yeah.
I would be throwing things in the dugout too. And in regards to that, we are excited to introduce a brand new segment today, along with our friends at OGeez. Of course, our friends at OGeez that are flavoring life. We got a little OGeez right here. That's their summer pina colada edition that you can get up now at a local dispensary near you. By the way, if you don't want to check out where they're at, if you need to find a dispensary near you, go to OGeezBrands.com. That's OGeezBrands.com. Or on Instagram at OGeez Brands. It's OGeez. But they are all about flavoring life. They're all about bringing you the best edibles that you can get in the state of Arizona. They are the #1 selling edible in the state of Arizona. And they bring you a variety of flavors. They're all about flavoring life. And, sometimes you need OGeez to kind of get over bad situations, Jesse. Like a bad day, nothing helps out on a bad day more than getting some OGeez. So we are going to introduce our new segment now, which is our OGeez Performance to Forget. That's right, because sometimes, again, you just need some you need some OGeez to get over stuff. And Carlos Rodon had quite the bad day yesterday, even though he had such a spectacular day. And let's take a look here. I think this is after giving up maybe the first home run. There's the backswing. That is not. You can't backswing like that with your teammates in the dugout. But it didn't stop there. This man was out of control. Of course, we also have this part of the video, too, where he kicks a bat and hits his teammate right in the shin. What are your thoughts about the menace in the dugout that is Carlos Rodon?
Yeah. So I watched the post-game interview with Carlos Rodon, and you really have to feel bad for the guy because you could tell Carlos Rodon was just trying to, the Giants have been struggling lately.
Oh, yeah.
He's trying to help them get back on track. And
he was having an incredible night outside of these few mistakes that then got compounded by that's when the Diamondbacks, Sergio Alcantara and Christian Walker were able to hit home runs.
Right. And so he just felt so bad. And it was so hard to, I honestly feel bad for us giving him our first OGeez performance.
He deserves it. He deserves it. Don't listen to this man.
He's such a good guy, and he felt so bad afterwards that all of this
happened. Well, and
happened.
that's why we think Carlos Rodon should take some OGeez because he should forget.
He should forget
not his performance on the mound, but his performance in the dugout, Jesse. That's what he should forget. Because on the mound, he was incredible. But again, the Diamondbacks got to him when they needed to. They scored enough runs. And again, their offense has just been incredible. So tip of the cap to OGeez, tip of the cap to Carlos Rodon. And make sure if you're looking for some OGeez like these that I'm taking with me to Disneyland, you can find their product at your local dispensary. Must be 21 years or older to purchase. I'm not taking them in Disneyland, Jesse. I'm just taking them with me.
Do we get an OGeez performance to forget from your trip?
Yeah, probably.
When you come back,
most likely.
Will we give you one? Okay.
Most likely. I'll fall asleep on a bench somewhere in Tomorrowland. But also, we are here at Four Peaks Brewing Company. We hope you guys are here, too. Shout out to our guy Charles is over there. Charles Woodall-Pike is here with us. But this has been a fantastic day for us here. We are drinking beers. I need another one. I asked Jacob for another beer, and nothing. I get nothing here.
This is not my job.
I know, but you can flag someone down.
Manager who's standing right here.
I need another beer, general manager. Oh, he said no to me.
He thinks it's my job.
I'm just on there. I didn't say I just said I needed another beer. Now we got this guy now coming on.
Derek.
Yeah.
You're a grown-ass man.
Okay, I'll get my own fucking beer, yes. But if you were here, you could get your own fucking beer, too, because they have a wonderful variety of beers here in Four Peaks. The food is incredible. Every single person here got chicken tenders, so apparently
they are legendary.
They are legendary. Like we can't stop thinking about it. We were talking about it before we got in the air. We both want chicken tenders so bad. But make sure to check out Four Peaks. We thank them so much for allowing us to be here, for their partnership and everything. So if you're not here, go grab some Four Peaks at your local grocery store, convenience store, liquor store near you. They have a wide variety of beers, and there is definitely one that fits you for sure. Must be 21 years or older to purchase and enjoy responsibly. Also, enter our Toast of the Month sweepstakes at gophnx.com, where you can win a $50 gift card for this very place. You can also get yourself a annual membership, and you can get yourself What's wrong, Jacob? Are we done with the toast of the month?
Toast of the month is getting announced today.
Oh, well, is it too late to enter?
I don't know.
Well, go
Where's
enter
Max?
right now. Quick,
Where's
go
Max?
enter. Get a man.
Is toast of the month closed? Can people still enter toast of the
Is
month?
it too late? It's toast of the month closed.
They can still enter as of right now.
Go enter right now. Toast of the month. Go on gophnx.com. Get in for an annual membership, a free T-shirt from the PHNX Locker, as well as a $50 gift card to Four Peaks right here. And Jesse, of course, the Diamondbacks, they had a lot of positive things going their way, but we can't have nice things. We can't have everything be positive. If the big league club is winning, there must be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that sacrifice already has been Druw Jones.
Yeah, it's sort of like how the Diamondbacks had to sacrifice their year last season so that the Suns could, make such a run.
See,
that
makes sense.
It's sort of how Arizona
we were
works.
sacrificing hamstrings left and right for the Suns playoff run. Yeah, it was wild.
Exactly. Yeah. So Druw Jones, Derek, his first batting practice. The poor guy didn't make it out of his first batting practice without what appears to be a potentially season-ending shoulder injury.
This wasn't the one at Chase Field, was it?
No.
Oh, okay, because that would have been even worse.
No,
that
it was
one
not the one
like
at Chase Field. I believe it was at Salt River Fields. It happened on Monday, which was his first day.
Thank you, Emily. Emily is the best. Emily's an MVP.
Derek got his beer.
I got my beer.
But yeah, this is just super unfortunate and honestly mind-boggling because we all know what happened with Jordan Lawler last year. It was a pretty similar situation. He did play at least a few games before his season-ending shoulder injury. And then, of course, the year prior, Corbin Carroll. I guess it wasn't the year prior. It was the same year, but Corbin Carroll was able to get some time in the minor leagues prior to that happening in his first professional season. But then last year, of course, we had all of those wonderful things happen with his shoulder. So I don't really know how these things are possible, Derek, what it is with Diamondbacks' first-round picks and how these sorts of things continue to happen, but really unfortunate for Druw Jones.
Michael McDermott, our guy, says Jones' injury won't affect him much if he's ready to go in spring training. It's 100 at-bats at the complex level, which isn't going to affect his development much.
Yeah.
There's good news. More good news is, like you said, Corbin Carroll potentially will never know. We will never know, right? But Corbin Carroll may have come out a better player than he ever could have after his injury.
Yeah.
We've talked a bit about how he spent his time with the scouts and what he did with his time when he was unable to play.
Right.
So, again, like you said, Jordan Lawler went through this, Corbin Carroll. No reason to panic right now with Druw Jones, but it sucks. It's just
like
it feels like we can never, you can never be completely up. You get a bonus at work, and then someone steals your catalytic converter, right? You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate, but I think Michael makes a great point that of all the times in Druw Jones' career for this to happen, it's probably not the worst one. It was mostly going to be at the complex this year. I don't know if he would have gotten up to Visalia at any point anyway. So it's going to be okay, I think. And the fact that Jordan Lawler and Corbin Carroll went through what they did, it inspires a lot of confidence that this is not the kind of thing that's going to ruin his development or ruin his stock as a prospect. It's just a little bump in the road. And unfortunate that a guy like Druw Jones has to feel that so quickly, like literally days after signing his first professional contract.
It's maddening. It's maddening.
That's just sort of how it goes sometimes. So we'll see how he responds.
We had some more minor league news from down south. Not down south, up north, I guess you should say. We had a battle of Fletcher versus Fletcher on the mound yesterday. David Fletcher, who is a prospect for the Los Angeles Angels, taking on Dominic Fletcher, his brother, who's a prospect for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Guess what? Our Fletcher won.
Our Fletcher did win.
4 for 4, single, 2 doubles, a triple, nearly a cycle against his brother. That's a way to step up. And just prove who's the better sibling, right?
Right, yes. One game definitely proves that. There's
Absolutely.
no question.
It's not, you say that, but it's always the latest game, right?
That's fair.
It's this
That's
game.
Fair.
Maybe they have an ongoing record against each other, but at least for the time being, Dom comes out on top. He gets the king crown.
It's sort of like when I would play one-on-one in basketball with my brothers growing up.
Yeah.
They could beat me like 90% of the time.
Sure.
But if I had beaten them in the most recent game, then I was better at basketball than they were, and there was really no comparison.
Hands down. I used to live around the corner from Richard Jefferson, by the way.
Really?
And, Richard Jefferson was not necessarily a driveway basketball playing kind of
That's fair.
kind of kid. He had like club ball and
How
such
young
to play
was
with
Richard
it.
Jefferson when this happened?
I mean, we were pretty young, but like we
He's like a kid?
we lived on we were kids at this time, like both of us. We actually lived like right on the border of where you could either go to Greenway High School or Moon Valley High School, and we went to rival high schools. He was just a block south of me, so he went to Moon Valley. I was a block north. I
So
went
does
to
this
Greenway High
lead to
School.
you telling us that you beat Richard Jefferson once in one-on-one?
I'm going to say Richard Jefferson didn't really want to play us in basketball. He was a little bit scared of coming around. No, I'm pretty sure he was
intimidated by you.
He was
Makes sense.
intimidated. Well, I had a big cactus in my front yard that a lot of my friends fell into when we were playing basketball. So you could kind of take your life in your own hands playing basketball at my house. But I did have older brothers, and it was big for me to beat them, even though I didn't normally get to beat them. The only time I got to beat them was one time in high school when my brother and his friends and us decided to play basketball at an 8-foot court that was a full court, and we ran them out of the building to the point where my brother's friends were puking in the grass. I feel like I've told this story before on this show, but I'm sure I've just told it to my friends many times. But that's not the only great thing that we have going on in the minor league system. It's not that we have just the better Fletcher, but we also have Stone Garrett, who currently leads the minors, Jesse, with 84 RBI.
Yeah.
Can't say enough about what this guy's doing for the Reno Aces. And, again, like you talked about with the kind of log jam that we have at outfield, it's not the worst thing, but there are some guys making some waves and ready to, I feel like, move on to that next level of their career.
Yeah. Stone is definitely one of those guys. Sitting 286 on the year, 350 on base, 599 slugging percentage with 25 home runs in 87 games. I mean, that is a lot of dingers in not that much time. So, he's definitely, I think he's a clear candidate to get called up down the stretch here. A lot of people have asked if Stone Garrett could play first base, and I don't know, probably. I think so.
Are we going to be a bit spoiled if, like, let's say we did move on from Christian Walker? I mean, isn't Christian Walker so good defensively that it's going to be a bit of a struggle when we see someone else playing there?
Yeah.
Kind of realize that we took him a bit for granted?
I think that is definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
Christian
he just
Walker
gets everything over there. Like some of the ways he stretches and gets a ball when it's kind of erratically thrown to him, he just makes it look easy when it was actually a really difficult play.
Yeah, and it's really easy to kind of go under the radar as a first baseman, I think.
Yeah,
because you're a first baseman. You know, you're not making like leaping grabs at the fence or anything like that. You're making like more subtle diving plays to your right or to your left, or subtle leaping grabs on hard line drives, that sort of thing. So yeah, I don't know if Stone Garrett is going to play anywhere near the quality of first base that Christian Walker does. But he is an outstanding. He's been an outstanding player for the Reno Aces this season, and frankly, I think they could have called him up probably a while ago, but it seems like pretty much a guarantee that we're going to see him up here at some point this season.
And it's a guarantee you're going to see us around some of these minor league teams very soon, because we're excited to go down and or go up. Once again, I forget where Nevada is compared to Arizona all the time. My geography is terrible, but we're going to go check out the Reno Aces here in August, and we're hoping to get there maybe before Corbin Carroll gets called up. This guy over here still keeps fanning the fires of that happening.
I keep going back and forth. I think I'm still around 60-40 right now. Corbin Carroll debuting with the Diamondbacks this season, so I think I would say it is more likely to happen than not, but nobody really knows for sure.
Strongly relies on what happens with the trade deadline, which is something we're going to talk about here in a moment. But make sure to sign up at gophnx.com. If you haven't done so already, get yourself a membership. Get an annual membership, and you'll get yourself a free T-shirt over at the PHNXLocker.com. Get yourself a month-to-month membership, and you'll get your first month for just 50 cents on us. Regardless of your membership status, you will get access to our members-only Discord, Jesse's wonderful writings, and all the wonderful writings from everyone here. What are you laughing about in the middle?
I'm laughing because Josh Hunt just said, Jesse gonna find that social media manager and fight them.
Yeah, that's what we're going there for.
The purpose of our trip to Reno is so that I can find the social media manager of the Reno Aces and put him or her
100%
in their
that
place.
reason. No, that's totally the reason. I mean, we were having a fun day. Everybody was everyone was
Jesse. Happy. Yeah, Visalia, Hillsborough, Amarillo.
And then Reno comes along. I'd participate if I knew who he was. You big timing us, Reno? Really? The Aces? Come on. Come on.
I'm
We
pretty
were-
sure the
come
Aces
on.
have followed me on Twitter since like 2015, and
Bunch
I'm
of
pretty sure they've
monsters.
retweeted like multiple of my tweets. So
I mean,
don't
thought-
give me that Reno social media
I thought
manager.
we were friends.
Come on now.
I thought we were friends. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going there for. But of course, make sure to follow us, do all that. Become a member. That way you get Jesse's wonderful articles and everything he's writing about the team in the second half. Also, if you're watching us right now on YouTube, hit a little like button, thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, get the notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we go live. Days like this are special. Of course, we're not doing our post-series show, but we are watching the game right now. Diamondbacks are up 1-0. I think I'm allowed to update you. I don't think MLB will come after me for that. What if you start doing a Greg Schulte impersonation calling this game right now while we do this?
Yeah, well,
No, we're not gonna do
I don't
that.
think that. I don't
Like we're
I don't know about the legal ramifications of us doing that.
Fourth inning. Diamondbacks are up 1-0. Zach
You're
Gallen.
totally free to do that, Jesse.
Yeah, there you go. Zach Gallen's doing his thing right now. He's keeping the team scoreless, which is what starting pitching has been able to do. Zach Gallen has been able to do at least. But also, if you're watching, listening to us right now on your favorite audio podcasting app, if you're not watching, if you're listening, viewers, listeners, you guys are two different groups. Listeners, if you're listening to us right now, make sure to subscribe on your favorite audio podcasting app and leave us a 5-star review. We would love you for it. You know who doesn't love each other, though, Jesse, is the MLBPA and Major League Baseball. These guys can't get along, can they?
Yeah.
Obviously, we know about the
don't.
friction of the lockout. If you were here with us during the lockout, first of all, God bless you.
You are a saint.
You are. We love you. More importantly, though, these guys couldn't get things together during lockout. Now, once again, they can't finalize the international draft proposal. Apparently, MLBPA has rejected the final international draft proposal from MLB, which most likely won't be the final one. But is this a toxic but necessary relationship between these two?
Well, it's definitely necessary. I mean,
I know.
they sort of have to talk to each
Well,
other.
but I mean, does it need to be necessarily so toxic where everything is such a disagreement? Obviously, I know this is how stuff works. You bounce agreements back and forth. One side agrees or one side disagrees or whatever, but it definitely seems like the PA and Major League Baseball just can't really get on the same page about much.
No, they definitely can't. And I think it makes it feel like a miracle that we're at this point, right, where the baseball season started on April 7th.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not losing any games. All we really had was like a 1-week delay in the season and a shortened spring training. But yeah, I think it was always a little bit of a question mark whether or not this deal would go through. It sounds like Major League Baseball is just going to, I guess both parties are pretty much just going to continue with the status quo with the qualifying offer and all those sorts of things. But yeah, the idea here was to try to create an international draft, which would basically change the process by which teams acquire amateur international talent. There are a lot of questions raised about the process that has been used for a number of years. A lot of times these guys don't sign officially until later in their life, but they're sort of courted when they're like 11 or 12 years old, like when they are very, very young.
Yeah.
And it just has never felt right that like teams are developing these relationships so early and kind of claiming these players for themselves so when they're so young. I mean, when they're 10 or 11 years old and they're basically just kids.
Right, because in a way it's influencing their decision on who they would sign with when they do have the opportunity in some cases to sign with whoever. And when the Diamondbacks be kind of culpable about this with like their academy and like the Dominican Republic, because I do know that they have some players there training that are pretty young, not like quite that young, but like in their teens.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks have made a concerted effort to really try to make their name known, specifically in the Dominican. And this is, I mean, essentially things are going to stay as they are, and the Diamondbacks are going to continue to, have that facility, which from what we've heard is a really top-notch sort of thing that they have going in the Dominican right now. But yeah, I think at some point this international draft idea, it seems to sort of make sense as something that really could help all parties involved. It's never quite felt right the way that this process is done right now. It's sort of like so many things sort of happen under the table, and even though guys don't necessarily sign when they're super young, it's just odd that teams are sort of claiming them when they're at such a young age. So maybe this is something that changes at some point, but it's going to require these two parties to find some common ground, which it feels like a miracle in itself if that sort of thing happens. So we'll see.
I think the most important question I have is, had this been in place, would the Diamondbacks still ended up with Yasmani Tomas? Could this have saved the Diamondbacks from signing Yasmani Tomas? Because if so, it's a good thing, and we need it to be in place as soon as possible. That's my point.
You needed to save them from themselves.
I need to save them from themselves. Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't think so, because Yasmani Tomas was signing like a big league contract with a big league team, whereas this is like amateur scouting. So these are guys who would. This is more along the lines of like MLB's first year player draft than MLB's free agency. So I think the Yasmani Tomas thing would be a little bit different, but yeah, that was not great how that worked out for the Diamondbacks. So fun memories for Diamondbacks fans for sure.
And speaking of fun memories, we might just have the memories left as the trade deadline looms with some of these players. Today's game right now that's going on could be the very last game at home for any number of Diamondbacks players that could get moved at the trade deadline. The one thing that Jesse said in the Discord that made everybody very upset was that last night.
Everyone's so angry at me all the time.
Jesse said last night when David Peralta pinch hit that David Peralta, it could be the last time we ever see David Peralta pinch hit in a game for the Diamondbacks, right?
Yeah, which I meant more so like at home, because I guess it's very possible that, if they wait until closer to the deadline to trade him, the Diamondbacks have a 3-game series coming up with the Braves, and then they're in Cleveland after that. Sure. So he could pinch hit in one of those games too. I was more talking about at Chase Field, but
no, what he was doing was trying to hurt your feelings. That's what he was doing. Don't fucking listen to him.
I was stating a fact, and
what's funny is I was the one that told you that, and so I love that you got into trouble for it.
I really should be throwing you under the bus for this, but I didn't understand it. 'Cause, like, people have gotten mad at me in the past for like saying things about what's happening in the game, and then they think I'm jinxing it,
That's me. You texted me in the 5th inning of Merrill Kelly's game and wanted me to make sure he's this guy. He wanted to make sure I was watching it. I said, don't bother me until we're in the 7th, Jesse. I don't really acknowledge perfect games until we get through the 7th inning.
I did not say the phrase perfect game.
He did not. He just said, if you're not watching this game, you should be. I know secret code. I know what secret code is. What do you think? I don't know secret code? But yes, this might be the last time we see David Peralta take the field for the Arizona Diamondbacks, because it's very true. Right now, of everybody on the team, David Peralta seems like the most likely candidate. And in fact, I would be a bit I'd be a bit concerned if they didn't move him. I mean, maybe a new deal could be imminent, but then again, that doesn't help anything with the log jam that we've talked about that they have in the outfield.
I don't really see any scenario where the Diamondbacks try to bring David Peralta back on a new contract. It just doesn't make sense right now given the state of the roster. So I don't think that's a factor. David Peralta's a good guy, right? Veteran presence.
Great guy.
We've seen the team in the past in these sorts of situations where if they couldn't get enough, like if they couldn't get something in return they felt was actually valuable, then they just held on to guys, right? We saw that especially a couple years ago. Cole Calhoun stuck around and whatnot. So I think it is entirely possible that the Diamondbacks at least consider keeping him around, but I think there's also a cost to keeping him around because the Diamondbacks have so many young talents that they want to get a better feel for, and you can't do that if David Peralta is still commanding significant playing time. It'd be really weird to keep him but bench him, the rest of the way, or keep him but really cut back on his playing time. Just be really weird. You'd rather have him, somewhere else where he can contend for a championship, and that probably is not going to happen in Arizona.
Well, since it's the last time we might be able to award it to him, we're going to go ahead and give David Peralta our king of the series. 3 for 4, 2 runs scored, 1 RBI. He was good, very good in game 1. Pinch hit, got a hit in the game 2.
Yeah, he tripled. Got a run scored or RBI in that one. That's why I didn't get why everyone was so mad at me yesterday. If I had jinxed David Peralta in this at bat, then maybe I understand. He tripled. He had an RBI triple. He had one of the biggest hits in the game, and
but
yet
that's not
somehow
the point.
Everybody's angry at me.
That's not the point. The people wanted to be excited about the moment. They wanted to enjoy it. They don't want you reminding them that that's not going to be there the next day. You Grinch. What time was that? That's inappropriate time.
Chris Melton's probably going to have me at 3 stars today.
Yeah,
but
no, for sure.
okay.
It's going to be a
time.
long time when you are her PHNX personality of the day again, for sure. But shout out to all of you guys. Of course, shout out to David Peralta for being our king of the series. And, of course, if you haven't done so already, make sure to go sign up at DraftKings Sportsbook. As a new customer, you can use our code of PHNX. Sign up, make your first deposit, and you'll get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code PHNX, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for detail. And, Jesse, I've been dropping some coin on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I told you guys to keep an eye out on some of those opt-in deals that they have as well. Right now, they have these quick same-game parlays, which I've kind of been into. I hit one a few weeks back, so now I'm kind of on it. But I'm going to give you my DraftKings pick of the week, and that's the Cleveland Guardians over the Boston Red Sox. Right now, the Boston Red Sox are a 1.5-run line favorite. But you can get good value on the Guardians covering that at plus 1.5 runs. Also, I'm going to give you one more run. It's the Yankees, after getting beat up by the Mets, they're going to go into Kansas City, and they're going to do work against the Royals. So there are your DraftKings pick of the week. If you want to combine those two together, you should be able to get a pretty good value on it. Should be a pretty safe bet.
Are you betting on the Yankees?
Guilty. Yeah, guilty. I still think that's a great bet. After watching the Subway Series, I think on the DraftKings Sportsbook, it's a solid bet to bet on the World Series winner potentially coming out of New York. You can bet by state, so I like that. And the Mets, there's something special about the Mets, man. That closer of theirs, Edwin Diaz, he has quite the entrance. That shit gets me pumped up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Edwin Diaz is he went through a stretch with the Mariners where he was just this unbelievable closer, and then he kind of faded a little bit, and now with the Mets he has rediscovered everything that he once had. He is at the top of his game now.
He's definitely there. And
Mark Melancon looked really good last night, by the way. Not to draw a comparison with Edwin Diaz, but Mark Melancon's stuff looked a lot better last night.
He really did. I mean, it was the swing and miss stuff, the whiff, right? Like, he looked much better than we've seen out of him.
Some nasty curveballs.
And more importantly, it was a non-save situation, so we normally see him not actually be very sharp in those. Right? I
feel like it's been more so like the tie games or the games where maybe the Diamondbacks are down a run where he struggled.
Where it's very close.
I don't really think he struggled in games where the D-backs were up more than 3 runs.
No, you're right about
4
that.
Runs or 5
That's
runs
usually when Torrey's putting them in, and because they haven't had a save situation in a while, and he needs to get that work in. So
right.
Absolutely. Well, we hope you guys are here enjoying the $3 Kilt Lifter and Wow Wheat Pints. I know I am. Of course, we also want to talk about our friends over at FOCO. FOCO has got you covered with the best Arizona sports merchandise. They have officially licensed gear for men, women, kids, your dog, everything from bobbleheads to swimsuits to Crocs, everything. Go check out FOCO. The bobbleheads are incredible. I won't lie. I told my wife about them last night. She said, "Why would you pay for a bobblehead?" I said, "Because it's been way too long since I've had a bobblehead. I want a bobblehead." And then I showed her the Serpientes ones, and she actually just let out a little. Those are actually pretty cool. So you convinced my wife even to spend that money. So go over to FOCO.com, click the link below in the description. For non-presale items, you can use the promo code PHNX for 10% off at FOCO. And, of course, they got you covered when supply chain issues let you down, of course. But Arizona Diamondbacks still up 1-0. Zach Gallen in a little bit of a jam right now. 2 on with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Hopefully he can get his way out of that. But from this perspective, it doesn't matter. They could sweep. That's great. They already won the series, though, and I'm excited to see what they do going forward. To be honest, I joked about the playoffs, but who knows what can happen with this team. I mean, if we don't expect them to stay on this, current run that they're on, but should they make something like this happen, it could be fun to watch the second half of this season.
Yeah, they've been a lot of fun so far. I mean, 34-10, like it's insane. It's insane what the Diamondbacks have done to opponents over these 5 games.
But we've said if they could have it all working at the same time, which sounds crazy because it's like saying, oh well, if you could just if you could just not screw up all the time, maybe you would, whatever. But the Diamondbacks really do show glimpses of being excellent, but It's just not consistent excellency.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, speaking of, it looks like the Giants just tied the game. Tyro Estrada with an RBI single. So.
I blame this guy. It's his fault. So we're going to wrap it up before we cost the Diamondbacks this game. Hopefully they can walk away with the sweep. I don't have a broom, but I will find one around here, and I'm going to sweep up this entire place. But we thank you guys, of course, for joining us. We appreciate you guys for being here. If you are here at Four Peaks, and thank you for always for listening to us. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. This guy over here is Jesse N. Friedman. The N is for negative. But of course, our show is at PHNX_DBacks. But the biggest one you need to follow is PHNX_Sports. All roads lead to that on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys again for joining us online in the comics. We appreciate you as always. On behalf of Jesse and myself, we thank you for your time. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when Jesse doesn't remind you that this could be David Peralta's last game.